This is Professor Duresh, and this is a 3-part video series on factoring trinomials with a equals 1 and when a is not equal to 1. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the basic trinomial and how we can factor it. I'm going to jump straight into an example. And that example is going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, as we've seen in a previous lesson, we can multiply two binomials together to produce a trinomial. So when we're factoring, we're basically asking ourselves, what were the two binomials that were multiplied to produce this trinomial? Now, because the leading term is just x squared, we know that the first term of each binomial is going to be x. That way, x times x produces x squared. On the other end of the trinomial, we have 6. Well, we need to think of two numbers that multiply to be 6. And I can think of two possible answers. 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So how do we know which of these works? Well, let's try 1 and 6. X plus 1, x plus 6. If we multiply these binomials together, they need to create the expression x squared plus 5x plus 6. So we'll test it out. X times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. And 1 times x is 1x. And 1 times 6 is 6. When we combine like terms, we see that we're combining 1 and 6 to produce 7x. But this does not match the trinomial that we started with. So this is not the correct factor. And in fact, we can make a conclusion. This is not correct because 1 plus 6 equals 7, not 5. Does 2 plus 3 equal 5? Yes. The best factors are those that multiply to be the last term and add to be the middle term. So the correct factors for x squared plus 5x plus 6 are actually x plus 2 and x plus 3. Now keep in mind, you can flip this order and it's still a correct solution. So now we just want to get really good at this skill because this is an essential core skill for most of algebraic mathematics. Let's take a look at another trinomial. So this time we're going to factor x squared plus 10x plus 16. Let's think of numbers that can multiply to be 16, but also add to be 10. So 16 can be 1 times 16, 2 times 8, or 4 times 4. Which pair is going to add up to equal 10? So we write our factors as x plus 2 and x plus 8. And if we wanted to check our answers, we would get x squared plus 8x plus 2x plus 16. Let's look at another example. I don't have a ton of space, but I think we can make this work. This time I'm going to introduce a negative number. So we're going to do x squared minus 6x minus 27. And so here we need to be really cognizant of the negatives. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to be negative 27. The only way for two numbers to multiply to be a negative is if one of the two numbers is negative itself, but not both. If both of the numbers were negative, then they would multiply to be a positive. So here, the numbers that make 27 are 1 and 27, 3 and 9, and that's it. Which of these numbers can subtract to equal negative 6? Before it was add because everything was positive. Now it's subtract. The correct combination is 3 and 9. But if we need them to add to be -6, the 9 has to be negative because the bigger number needs to be negative to produce a negative sum. So we write x plus 3 and x minus 9 as our factors.